Welcome to my presentation. My name is Nickolas. Today I will be presenting the article MEG-BMI to Control Phantom Limb Pain by T. Yanagisawa et al. So the first question is, what is phantom limb pain? Phantom limb pain is the phenomenon where amputees experience an intractable chronic pain that frequently occurs in an amputation or a partially or completely deaffinated body part after severe peripheral nerve injury, such as the brachial plexus root avulsion, or abbreviated as BPRA. This chronic pain is caused by maladaptive cortical plasticity, as in the reorganization of the sensory motor connections, becoming the result of the amputated limb. This is particularly important because the authors note that there has been recent studies showing conflicting evidence between phantom limb pain and maladaptive cortical reorganization. So, to confirm the link between the two, the author's aim was to directly manipulate the sensory motor plasticity. They believe that the BPRA is partly the result of the maladaptive cortical plasticity, and because of that, they can use what they call the brain-machine interface, BMI. This is a type of training to induce cortical plasticity and potentially alleviate the phantom limb pain that these individuals experience. Therefore, the authors seek to establish a causal link between phantom limb pain and cortical representation. And if the BMI training they do can induce cortical reorganization, it would be able to support the control over phantom limb pain. So, how did the authors go about it? They performed what they call dresotomy, which is the lesioning of the dorsal root entry zone. This is the pathway of what was described as shooting pain. This is defined by a severe pain which attacks frequently at unexpected intervals. This was where the BPRA was located. The patients measured pain by using the Visual Analog Scale, VAS, and the Japanese version, the short form McGill Pain Questionnaire, version 2, SFMPQ2, before and after the dresotomy. Table 1 shows all the tested patients in each of their BPR locations on the spinal cord. They also used a 160-channel whole head MEG to record cortical activities related to patient phantom hand movements. This was how they designed their experiment. So each patient performed the first offline task, which is described as before BMI training. They would attempt to move their phantom hand or intact hand at specified times while the MEG recorded this. After the offline task, they were then evaluated with the VAS. The results the MEG picked up were then used in what they call decoders. These decoders were then translated into a robotic hand to control. Patients would then have to attempt to control these robotic hands during BMI training. The patients would have this about every 2 weeks for the 3 different decoders. The phantom decoder was the attempt of movement by the phantom limb. A random encoder was provided to simply be used as a baseline or control condition, and then lastly the real hand encoder was the attempt of movement by the real hand. In this way, they were able to effectively manipulate the sensory motor plasticity when performing the BMI training. Now, if you take a look at figure 2a here, their findings indicate that there has been significantly reduced VAS score after dresotomy, effectively reducing the described shooting pain by a large margin. Additionally, figure 2b, the SF-MPQ2 scores were able to reduce pain across all categories of pain, with intermediate being the significantly most reduced. The authors do note here, though, that the continuous pain was the only category that persisted after dresotomy. Figure 3a here shows how the decoders altered their pain, using the random decoder as their baseline. The phantom decoder was compared to the random decoder, significantly increased in VAS, making the patients feel a lot more pain. Now, the real hand decoder, when compared to the random decoder, significantly decreased in VAS, making the patients feel a lot less pain. And to ensure that the decoders were accurately measuring what they were supposed to be measuring, in figure 3b, they were also using evaluation on the currents on the motor cortex contralateral to the phantom limb pain, both significant when compared to the random encoder. So the question is, what do the results tell us about the experiment? To summarize the results, dresotomy was able to significantly reduce the pain the patients had suffered from shooting pain, which was the result of BPRA. This led to them testing the effects of BMI training controlling their pain, to which it altered both the pain and phantom hand representation in the sensory motor cortex by the difference in VAS when compared to the random decoder. The authors explained that the BMI training with the real hand decoder would accelerate the dissociation link between the phantom hand and its original cortical representation by creating a new link to the real hand, thus answering their statement on identifying the causal link and controlling a portion of pain. Their results leave many implications to come. The MEG-BMI training provides an alternative method to change the information of motor representations to effectively control a patient's phantom limb pain. Not only may this method be used clinically as a tool in treatment, but it can also be used for further research on the different types of pain elicited in phantom limb pain. That is all I have for my video. Thank you for watching, and these are my references.